Alright guys, in this video, I'm going to show you the new way that I have started grouping together keywords and running my Google ads since about early this year. So it's about April now, 2024. And this is the new way I recommend doing it based on how Google systems now work in the Google ads account. So previously, what I used to recommend is doing basically as close to single keyword ad groups as possible. And while I still do think that that would be the ultimate arrangement if you had full control over the account, the problem we have now is that Google systems are getting more and more loose in terms of the targeting, and they're giving you less and less control over exactly what keywords you want to show for and exactly how you want to control your campaign. And so the problem is it's largely a waste of time to go through the process of putting all of the single keyword ad groups into all these separate ads and into separate ad groups and making ads specific for them when Google's just going to show it for random keywords anyway that are not exact match. So it doesn't really make a point. And so I found a lot of success doing a slightly new method, which I'm going to show you here in this video. So basically what we're going to be doing is, instead of targeting exact keywords, we're going to group together in similar clusters or topics. And I'm going to show you how I do this now. Now, the important thing here with this is that you need to get the search intent of all these keywords correct. That's still a major thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I've made a video about that recently. Go check it out, put a link above and in the description below. Go watch that video to understand what I mean by search intent, because that's going to be crucial for this process. But basically, once you understand that, what you can do is you can group the search intent keywords together based on topics, and then that's going to work. So I'm going to show you an example in this video of how I am doing it currently. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to go with family law because it's one that I work with a lot, but you can apply this exact same process to basically anything: plumbing, concreting, automotive businesses, whatever, basically any local business, any search campaign. This is going to work largely the same. The principles of this are the same. So what I recommend you do is you type in your main keyword at the top and you get the list of keywords going in the keyword planner. And then what I would do is I would export this into a CSV or a Google Sheet or however you want to do it. Let's go Google Sheet for now. And so now we can start sorting these. So basically what I will do is I will delete most of these rows, so you can just delete them to get them out of here. Delete this. I keep the monthly searches just to get an idea of which keywords are like super relevant, and then the rest of this can go. You don't need any of this. And so then you're just going to be left with largely the keyword itself and the average monthly searches. I'm just going to color this to make it slightly different. Personally, I like to freeze the top row as well, so that we can scroll and see it. All right, so now we have the list of keywords that relate to family law. Now, as you can see here, we obviously have a ton of different keywords: family lawyers, child custody, etc. And so there's quite a few different topics in here that we want to cluster these keywords together in. So what I recommend you do is you open up a couple of new tabs, and we're going to use these tabs for the other clusters. And so we want to go through this list ideally and cluster the different things together. So one quick way to do this is you can apply filters to these and just pull out most of the keywords that are in the same cluster. So for example, we're talking about family. You can just create a filter that says family, and you can just pull out all the family law ones. I'm just going to do family. Go condition contains family. Then we'll go search. And so now we got all the family keywords. Now you obviously want to sift through these and make sure that everything is on point, but basically most of these should be okay. And so now you can see that we're going from 0 to up to 5,000 searches a month. And what I like to do is I'll actually order these as well, because I want to know which ones are searched the most. And so now what you can do is you can take these, and what I would usually do is just copy them, and now we'll paste them in a separate sheet. And then we can filter out these specific keywords. So now we got that. What I would also do, I would recommend, is you color these so that you know what you have actually filtered in this case. And then you can even remove this filter, and you can see now you know which ones you copied across. So let's go to the family ones that we just pulled out, and now we can start filtering these. So again, they're already sorted in order. So these are the most important you want to pay attention to. And then anything 50 and below is worth it. Anything below 50, you're basically wasting your time. I'm just going to delete these because it's just not really worth it, like even when you're wasting time for that. Now let's take a look at what we have here. So firstly, now we want to start looking at the intent, like I mentioned in the other video. So what I would start doing is I would start eliminating keywords that are not the right intent, and I would start adding keywords to the negative keyword list of things I specifically don't want to go after. And so let's take a look here. For example, family law. This keyword is not as specific in the intent. Like, I don't know if somebody searching family law is after a family lawyer or is after information. Now, one way you can test that is you can take this keyword, you can open up Google, and we can type it in and see what we actually get. So you can see here that we're not getting the first results being, we're getting a lot of informational keywords, results here. And so this is indicating to me that Google thinks that this is more of an informational search rather than a commercial search, meaning if we bid on this keyword, it's probably not going to be very high converting. So what I'm going to do is, I obviously don't want to eliminate the keyword family law as such at this point, but I'm just going to remove it from the list. And so I don't want to target it specifically. I just want to remove it to not specifically target it, if that makes sense. Now, what we'll do is all of these ones, these all look good. Family court lawyers, assuming you offer that, you'd want to keep that. We'd want to keep this. We want to keep this. Family law, family court, this is all okay. This is all okay. Now we're starting to get into a territory where you might, depending on who you're after, you might want to consider these. So for example, if you don't do pro bono, what I recommend you do is you start up a negative keyword list. And I usually do this in a text file on the side. You can add the exact match keyword with the square brackets in order to add the exact match. And then you can also add a phrase match pro bono, so the actual keyword you don't want in there, so that if some other variation of this pops up, it will also be gone. So for example, family lawyers pro bono or something like that. And then you want to also eliminate it from this list so that you don't actually add this to your keywords. Now, the next one is, let's say, cheap. Up to you if you want to target that particular keyword. It depends what segment of the market you're targeting, but let's say you didn't. You could delete that. And if you want to specifically eliminate all the variations, as you can see here, cheap as well, you could also add that as a phrase match here. So cheap. And you could add the variations in here too, the exact matches if you wanted. We can keep going down here. So for example, low income, if you didn't want that, you could also remove that as well. Let's see that. This one's funny, aggressive. That's funny. So again, pro bono, you see that. So that's why you want to add the phrase match negative, because you could have an endless amount of variations or questions and things that are not even here that people search that you don't want to include. So you can keep that in mind, add that to the list. We got family violence. Now, personally, I think this is a very specific one, which I would group in a separate topic. You could potentially get away with it because it's not a lot of searches, but if there's enough searches for family violence lawyer as a topic, then I would be looking at making an entirely different ad group for that. So family violence. Let's have a look. Okay, so there are quite a bit for domestic and family violence. So what I would do in this case is I would start a second sheet if you wanted to advertise for that, and I would move that across. And now I'm going to call this one, I'm just going to call it domestic violence because we know what that is. And this one is family law. And so see, basically what we're doing here is we're making the sheets is each ad group that we're going to make based on these keywords. So this would be a family lawyer ad group or a family law, however you want to call it, and it would contain all these keywords. And so you would want to go do this with everything that could potentially pop up here. So let's continue filtering, specializing in narcissism. That's funny. Now see, mediators. Do you offer mediation? Here's another one as well, actually. Modern family law. That is not a high intent keyword at this point. So I would double check this one again. Let's go and have a look. That's a brand keyword by the looks of things. So for this one, if somebody's going out of their way to look for a specific company, I would probably not target it, at least in the beginning, just because they're more likely to want that specific company. Like, you know, imagine you were dead set on buying like Adidas shoes and Nike is trying to show you an ad, you wouldn't care. You know, so that's just something to keep in mind. Child custody, family law, child custody. Now, obviously this would not belong in this particular ad group. However, this keyword is also not clear search intent. So I would double check that search intent. I'm imagining, yeah, this is informational. I wouldn't advertise for this one. I wouldn't include it. So what I would do is I'll just remove that completely. These are all okay. Family mediator, again, if you want mediation, I would make a separate ad group for that. I'm just going to remove it from this list, but similar to how we did the domestic violence, I would be making a new one. Pro bono, again, is popping up. So because we added the phrase match here, we can remove it. Now, family legal services, family courts, you definitely would not want that. You would want to remove that for sure. Family estate, that's an entirely different practice of law, so I would remove that. Family law office, I would remove that one as well, because that doesn't sound like a specific thing. family law facilitator, family law help. Again, this search intent on this one is not clear enough for me. I would remove it. I would personally want to go after the very, very specific group of keywords, which is like these here. And so now we're starting to get to the point where we're straying a little bit with like random stuff. Now, the other thing you have to keep in mind is if you're going to run phrase match, which is usually what I do and I recommend you do, but even if you do exact match, Google's getting pretty loose with these match types. And so by running something like family lawyers or family lawyer near me, as you have it up here already, that's going to basically match in any of these potential like variations. And so you don't need to go through every single one of these, though this list is not particularly long, but if you've got a list of like 1,500 keywords, I would just deal with the ones that have decent search volume and have like the main, keyword theme in them. And then that's going to take care. You'll see once you start running the ad account that you're going to get a bunch of search terms anyway that are unrelated or like all kinds of variations. It doesn't even matter. Like you want to balance like how much time investment is worth it versus like what result you're going to get. And so what you do want to do though is pay attention to the things that keep popping up that you don't want. So for example, pro bono, we've already added Australia. So that's wrong. I'm trying to consider the one for court because people are searching family court lawyer and we do want, but we don't want family court. Like family court of Australia, we definitely do not want. And I also find it concerning that the keyword Australia is in here when this is a New Zealand campaign. So the reason I've added this one as exact match is because I want that as an exact match gone because I don't want to eliminate family court lawyer. But what I want gone is Australia and any variation of Australia. And for this, let's just say this is a New Zealand campaign. And then nothing against Australians. And then let's say that we want to eliminate any variation of this word in any keyword. So that's why I'm adding it there. Now we want to remove that from the list as well. Now family law divorce, again, not clear enough intent. I'm just going to remove it from the list. Family will lawyer. Now see, I would be adding, in this case, will and wills, because that has now popped up a bit, and also estate. Because that, even if you want to advertise that, I would be making an estate campaign as a different campaign. And so I would remove that from this one. I'm going to remove that there. Family law resolutions, not clear enough what that is. I'm going to remove it. Again, you can go and search every one of these keywords if you want. I'm not going to for the purpose of time in this video, but you certainly could. Again, this one, family law, that's probably a company name. I'm going to remove it. Family law advocate, collaborative family law, not clear enough. Family divorce, not clear enough. Family court, definitely don't want that. I'm actually going to put that one in the negatives. So this one, again, specifically about a family court, we don't want that. Family dispute, yeah, not clear enough. We don't want that. You don't want to be bidding on these keywords. Family court orders, you don't want that. These are brand names by the look of it, so we're just going to remove these. So take care of that. This one, again, family law. It doesn't say family lawyer, it says family law, so not clear enough. These ones basically completely not relevant. So now you can see that we have pruned this list to very specific keywords. Obviously, there's some in here that are not done yet. I did skip over a couple. So for example, we got divorce and we got immigration. So I'm going to add both of these as well. Let's just add them quickly. Immigration, and we've got divorce. Because we're going to make a separate campaign for divorce. Sorry, a separate ad group for divorce, or you could make a separate campaign. And I'm also going to not advertise for immigration in this case. So we want to remove that. So see, family and divorce lawyer keeps popping up. So we want to put divorce in there to get rid of it. And divorce here. Okay. And so now if you take a look at this list versus the original list, this is much more refined and much more specific to family lawyer and family law services than the original list. Now this one we don't want, so I'm just going to put that as an exact match as well. And so this is basically what you should be doing when you have the ad groups left at the end. You should have a list of keywords like these, which are quite specific, but you might end up with, let's say, like 50 of them, all within the same theme, which is family lawyer, family attorney, family law lawyers, family solicitor, but that's all largely the same thing. You want to have a list of those that you're going to add as a phrase match into your campaign. And so having these as phrase match is basically going to cover all of these different variations that include like family lawyer in them, which is going to help you get all the bigger range of keywords, but they're still on topic and they're still the correct search intent. And do it that way and give Google a bit of room to work with as well to optimize for, let's say, conversions and things like that. And then you're going to have this negative list here, which is going to cancel out the recurring themes that keep popping up that Google clearly thinks are relevant because it showed them here for you. And if it showed them here, it's going to show your ad for them as well. You can bet on that. And so what's going to happen is you want to remove them here. And so here's how you can use the difference between like phrase and exact match in the negatives as well. I'm going to add this as a exact to try and eliminate these from popping up too. And so now what's going to happen is you're going to remove a lot of wasted ad spend at the beginning. You're still going to have some, as you always have with a new campaign, but now you've eliminated the bigger chance of like a lot of wasted spend because you're eliminating the common things that keep popping up. And then now what you would do with the next lot is you would go back to the original tab, and now you could do the same thing for divorce. So what you would do is you would go with the condition, text contains, put in like divorce, and then you could do like separation as well, hit OK. And so now you pull out the whole list of divorce keywords, put them into a new tab, and then start again with this exact same process. So you want to get the right intent, focus on divorce lawyer, divorce attorney, or whatever like the commercial intent keyword for you would be. Eliminate all the negatives that you don't want to show for, and just prune this list to be very relevant. And so this is the procedure that I now use for organizing Google Ads accounts, and this has been working very, very well, especially with the optimized conversion bidding strategy. And I think it's because unlike Google, who are trying to make everyone go broad match, which I think is way too broad and takes too long to try and optimize for and too much budget and often just doesn't work right, this is still guiding it in a much more correct sense with the right intent and the specific keywords, but it's giving it some more room to work with so that it can start showing it for like these different random variations and things like that, which is going to help to get like other conversions in that you might not otherwise get, and it will help to lower the whole cost of the picking up, conversions. So that's the new strategy that I would now recommend from 2024 going forwards, at least at this point in time, and this is what I'm using, and it's been working incredibly well. So instead of going and spending a bunch of time doing single keyword ad groups anymore, I would just do this and then make the ads exactly as I've shown before, with the 3 headlines, the 2 descriptions, pin them in the same place, and then make the first headline the keyword, at least like a variation of the keyword. So like divorce lawyer city or divorce attorney city or things like that, to just try and make them as relevant as possible. And in my experience, this is working just as well as the old tactic was, if not slightly better in some cases. So that's what I'd recommend going forward. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you have any questions about any of this, put them in the comments below and I will answer them. If you'd like my help with your Google Ads account and even SEO, go to dominatemarketing.io, book a call with me there, and I'll see what I can do to help. Otherwise, if you'd like me to coach you on how to get results with Google Ads and SEO for only $49 a month, go to learndominatemarketing.com, where you'll be able to jump on a call with me 2 times a week, and I'll coach you through getting results from your ads and SEO campaigns. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.